speed race, CB speed race, hop in the range, take off into space.
Hey guys, it's cbgray coming to you guys live with another Destiny video. How are you guys doing today? So in today's video, we're going to be talking about how to get the Xenophage because it's one of the best DPS weapons in the game. It came out last year and it definitely wasn't then, but now it's risen to power. And one of my most frequently asked questions is how in the world do I get this weapon? So the purpose of this video today is going to be showing how to get this weapon. I'm going to try to keep things as clear as possible and go as quickly as I can, but know that there's a bunch of steps, so I'll just try to do my best. Hopefully this video does end up being helpful. If it does, hit the like button, and if you're new, go ahead and subscribe because we love to have your beautiful faces, and it really helps support your friendly neighborhood potato. Thank you guys for all the support. We're almost at 70k, so all I'm going to say is thank you and get right into it. Let's do this. So before we get started with the first step, just know that you do need to have Shadowkeep in order to get the Xenophage. This is something that people sometimes confuse. Sometimes you may think that you need the most current season pass, but no, having Season of the Worthy or Season of Dawn or Season of whatever, that's not what's required for Xenophage. It's having Shadowkeep, so just keep that in mind. So now on step 1, what you're going to do is fast travel to Sorrow's Harbor on the moon, and you're going to follow my exact path to the Eris statues. So for step 2, what you're going to need to do is you see this gigantic black pyramid. You're going to put your back towards it, and then you're going to have 4 statues that are in front of you. So you're going to need to inspect these statues in the order that I go through. You're going to start with the one on the right side that's closest to you, and then you're going to move in a counterclockwise direction. So I'll show you what that looks like, and then I'll also put a graphic on the screen that kind of shows the order as well. Just something that I wanted to add to make it a little bit easier. So once that's done and you open up the chest, you'll grab the quest that's going to officially be the start of the Xenophage quest. So next thing you're going to do is fast travel to Eris, and you're going to follow my exact path to the Anchor of Light, where we'll be grabbing a light orb that we'll be using to quote-unquote light our way. So now that we've grabbed this light orb, you're going to need to follow my exact path that I took, and you can go ahead and speed up this footage, or you can slow it down if I'm moving too slow or if I'm moving too fast, and we'll be taking this light to multiple different locations on the Anchor of Light, and we're going to need to deposit it once we take it to all these multiple locations. If you're either too slow or deposit it in the wrong order, you can just go back to the beginning where we originally picked it up and retry my exact steps. I'll keep it on the screen. This is exactly how you do it. The next step is you're going to need to go to 4 different lost sectors, and then once you get to the lost sector, you're going to have to clear them out, and then once you clear them out, there's going to be a puzzle in each of these 4 lost sectors that you're going to have to do in order to move this next step. This is by far one of the more tedious steps, and it was really hard on opening day, but I will be making these puzzles as easy as possible for you. So basically how this puzzle works is there's 9 stones that have symbols on them that are in a 3x3, 3 stones on 3 different rows for a total of 9 stones. And then there's a 10th stone on top of them that's going to have a symbol on it as well. Now this symbol on the top is the symbol that you need to make the other 9 below also be matching in order to get each puzzle done. And when you do it correctly, there will be a chest that spawns. And so all that you're going to have to do is shoot them in the exact order that I shoot, and I will put it on the screen, and you'll be able to solve this puzzle, and then you'll pick up the chest. The next step in the quest takes place after the first encounter of the Pit of Heresy dungeon. This is the new dungeon that came out in Shadowkeep. If you're not sure how to beat the first encounter, I will link in the description a dungeon guide so you guys can get through that very, very quickly. It's not too hard. And after you are in this location, you'll see that there's a ton of doors everywhere. And so the next step of the quest is going to be hidden in one of these doors. And the way that you'll know you're in the correct door is that the door that you're supposed to go into won't have a symbol on top of it. So I'll show you how to get to the correct door, and I'll also show you what it looks like when you go into the incorrect door. The next step of the quest will also take place in the Pit of Heresy. It'll be in the next encounter, so you can actually do this next step without completing the next encounter in the dungeon. However, if you do complete the next encounter in the dungeon and then do this step, it'll actually be a little bit easier because you won't have to be chased after ogres. But we'll just go ahead and explain the quest as if you're doing this from directly after the first encounter, just so you don't have to do more work in the dungeon. So what you're going to do is you're going to follow my exact path, and you're going to grab your light, as you see me doing here, which is going to spawn platforms from this cliff or abyss or whatever you want to call it. You'll jump on these platforms, and then once you do that, you'll grab your light, and then you'll take it in the exact direction that I go. And what we're going to be doing is lighting two torches on a doorway so that you can enter the door, because the door will be locked until you light it, and the ogre is going to be trying to protect it. So once you grab your light, follow my path, use the cave as cover, and it does help to have teammates on this portion to kind of distract the ogre. And what also helps is having defensive supers such as bubbles, or being an invisible hunter, or even having a well if you're a warlock. But follow along with what I do here. This is exactly what you're going to have to do in order to get this next step of the puzzle done. The final real step of the quest, and the hardest step, requires you to take out this wizard that you see in front of us. Now I'm going to try to make this encounter as simple as possible, but there is a lot going on, so just try to listen to the things that I'm saying here. I'm going to have some graphics also to try to make this simple, and I will just try to do my best to explain how to beat this wizard. So basically, the first thing to note is in this room there are 4 symbols when you walk in, and each one of these symbols are going to be the same symbols that we saw when we were doing the puzzles in the earlier encounter. And so these are going to teach us how to do the encounter when we actually are going to kill this wizard. So as you can see, there are 4 symbols in the room that are attached to a specific element. Now this is going to be very important, so let's walk through it real quick. So the line symbol is kinetic, the A symbol is void, the ice cream cone symbol is arc, and the X symbol is solar. So when you start this encounter, you need to, in the safest way possible, so I recommend, like I said, safe subclasses again, but in the safest way possible, you are going to need to grab the light orb that's in the middle of the room where the wizard is floating or flying or whatever she's doing. Now, when you grab this symbol, the orb is going to say one of 4 buffs. Now, it's either going to say Thunderous, it's going to say Abysmal, it's going to say Fiery, or it's going to say Neutral. And the buff's called Dread, so it'll either say like Thunderous Dread, Abysmal Dread, Fiery Dread, or Neutral Dread. Now these are very important for 2 reasons. The first reason is that this is going to tell us where we need to slam the light orb. So I also created a graphic that's going to also show the map of the room where the wizard's in, so you can know where you're going to be slamming the orb, but I'll also just say it so you can know as well. But so the Neutral Dread is located on the top level on the right side, right when you walk into the room. The Fiery is on the bottom level on the right side. The Abysmal Dread is going to be slammed on the top level on the left side and the back left corner, and then the Thunderous Dread is on the bottom level on the left side. So there's 2 dreads on each side that you'll need to go to slam. After you slam the orb, the other reason why it's important to pay attention to what dreads you had is that you're going to have a small DPS window where you're going to be able to damage the boss once you slam. The only catch is if your dread was Fiery, you're only going to be able to damage her with solar weapons. If it was Abysmal, you're only going to be able to damage her with void weapons. If it's Thunderous, arc, and then if it's neutral, kinetic weapons. So that is why you need to pay attention to your dread. After the timer runs out, you'll no longer be able to DPS the boss, and you'll need to rinse and repeat. Grab an orb from the middle, take it to wherever it needs to go based on the map that I showed you, and as you keep going through, you'll keep doing more damage to the boss, and eventually you'll get it done. And so what I want to do is I also want to show a few examples of how I did this so you can see it in action, and after you beat the boss, the Xenophage will be yours. All you'll have to do is go back to Eris and claim your prize. Two things that I want to clarify real quick too. If you do slam on the incorrect orb, after 3 or 4 seconds of it saying path unclear, you'll be able to re-slam on the correct one. And then the second thing is whenever one of your teammates slam, you guys will all be able to do DPS. And then last thing, I know I did say 2 things, but 3 things. Last thing too, prioritizing ad clear is going to be huge. Your teammates should be clearing out ads constantly while the main slammer person, we can call them, is slamming the orb wherever it needs to be slammed. Keeping ads down is going to be key to this encounter. After you beat the boss, the Xenophage will be yours. All you'll have to do is go back to Eris and claim your prize. So I do hope this was helpful, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of this weapon. Let me know when you get the weapon too, because feels good. This is a long quest, so I know that once you get to the end of this, it'll be a pretty good feeling moment. So hopefully this video was helpful, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys. Take care. And with that, I'm gonna talk to you guys in the next Destiny video. Thanks. I love you guys.
My visa's equipped, they shots to the lip. Take out the coin, then I flip. Pull out the thorn, then it's ripped. Dragon tattooed on my hip. Invading like my name is Zim. Dunking these moats like a rim. Yes, I am harder than Shin. Making you pay for your sins. The drift of the 9. Yeah, I'm rolling with them.
I'm not fine, I feel incredible. No, I'm not regular. Stand on a pedestal. Joker's wild when he's off of his medicine. For my squad, I go hard like an animal. Buy guns. Got your head on the reticle, no trust. You need to go level a man down, but no, I'm not giving up.